So look, I'm hoping this is going to be very interactive, and please feel free to participate. I want to start by asking each of our panelists, first of all, when you answer the first question, to add anything about yourself that you want to say. And I will start with you, Sabine. What does befriending AI mean to you? How do we become friends with AI?
All right, so first of all, welcome everyone. I'll start with a few facts on beyond diving. I'm leading a team of technical experts across Middle East and Africa who work actually with you to define and design and to build the next generation of applications and solutions which help you to better serve your clients, to grow your business, and to outpace competition. So that's what I do basically on a day-to-day basis. Anything around cloud, AI, cybersecurity, and looking into the future around quantum. So that's my day-to-day job. I also am the women executive sponsor for IBM in Middle East and Africa. So I work a lot with the women in our organization to make sure that they can achieve their potential and grow, and that we have a good balance and thrive. So befriending AI was actually a good question to you, because I actually had to go way back. You know, AI is a journey. It's not something what happens from one day to the other. And it actually started in my childhood. The first computer we had in our house was a chess computer, because my father loved to play chess. And you know, it started to build up, like in 1997, when there was machine versus man. You know, Garry Kasparov was playing against Deep Blue. That was a big topic in our house. So very exciting. Fast forward in the mid-2000s, we had a client event in Cairo, and I actually got to have breakfast with Garry Kasparov. So you can imagine, you know, like it's like this journey to come, like reality. Like there are humans, there are machines, how they interact. And that really builds the trust. It's not a technology which popped up 1.5 years ago. You know, it's an evolution where technology evolves, and as we have to stay on top of this and be familiar what's coming next, will take away the fear. And what we did, for example, in IBM, when we launched our AI platform, we asked every single person in our organization, whether they are marketing, finance, HR, sales, research and development, to come together and do the what's next challenge, meaning they had to actually learn about AI and how it can help them in their business. So we gave them different use cases and scenarios, asked to build multidisciplinary teams, and actually start learning what they can do with it. And that actually showed that AI is not just for technical people. You know, the evolution showed there are tools which foster or trigger your creativity, your innovation, how you can take data and use it for your purpose and what you want to achieve without being a mathematician or a statistics or an electronic engineer. So that's what I would say to befriend AI. Go out there on the internet, independent of who is providing the technology. There are so many opportunities to explore and play with it, which gives you ideas how you can use AI in your day-to-day life and in your business.
Thank you. I'm continuing with you, Madis, because you have interesting examples of how recently you used AI in creative ways. And I want to ask you, what is your latest interaction with AI? Can be generative AI or any type of AI, and how this even got into your life?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I love Dubai. I love being back here, and seeing this room full of women makes it really motivating. It's a certain type of energy you have at events with women, so I'm very excited. Before I answer that question, let me just briefly mention also what we do as the Female Factor. So we basically do everything in our power to get more women into leadership roles. And we do that especially with a look on technology. I'm not a techie, yet I do use AI, and I do try to upskill myself. And what we've been doing in the past years is we've had thousands of women run through digital upskilling together with programs that we provided for free, and then we track what impact it has on their salaries, on the amount of promotions they get, and the impact is incredible. We've seen promotions after only 3-month programs, and that's what I also want to give to the audience today. Whatever job you're doing, whether you're a lawyer or you're a CEO, you really can implement technology and has such a huge impact on your career. So that's what we basically do as the Female Factor. And a recent example that I gave, and you mentioned it, I'm officiating the wedding of my best friend. Never done this in my life before. So instead of going and spending hours Googling something together, I went to my best friend, which is ChatGPT. And because it's an intercultural wedding, he and she, or she, however you may call ChatGPT, gave me a lot of creative ideas on how to connect these two cultures. So he said I should talk about schnitzel and hummus during the officiation of the wedding. So I'm going to incorporate all of that. I'm going to tell the bride after the wedding. But what I want to say is that I could have spent hours researching myself, but with AI, I'm able to get certain perspectives and ideas and creative sparks that I would not be able to get otherwise. And I wish I would have used it earlier, because 3-4 years ago, I was able to give a TED talk, and I spent 1 month preparing for it, taking away time from vacation with my family. And if I would have used this earlier, it would have saved a lot of time for myself. So yeah, that's the latest meaningful interaction I've had.
I love this. And bottom line, incorporate AI. Doesn't matter what field you're in. Andrea, over to you. I would like to ask you, first of all, how did AI reach your life? Where did it start for you? And also, if you can give an example of how it recently boosted you professionally or personally.
Thank you so much, Donna, and good morning, everybody. I hope you are feeling really well and inspired today already. We had a great day yesterday. I want to pause here a little bit because you talk about the fun fact, right? There is this theory of a couple of degrees of separation, right? So Mahdi was born in Vienna, raised in Vienna. Sabine is from Vienna, and I lived in Vienna for 5 years. So, we are very, very obviously interconnected. And the second piece, I love how you introduced Donna the panel, right? That the AI is from 1950s. So in 1956, there was a Dartmouth conference. And if you look at the picture, it's about 8 men. They're all white, oldish, right? Now look at the stage now. You have 4 women with multiple different backgrounds. I am Czech. I grew up during communism. Sabine is from Austria. Madi is Iranian, Australian. Donna is Moroccan, French, Israeli. We are all from different places. We have different religion, different colors, and we are all in AI. So I think this is absolutely amazing how the picture is changing, isn't it? Amazing. So I wasn't born in AI diapers like many people, right? But I think my biggest strength and my superpower is my curiosity. So AI is obviously here for many, many years. We've been using it as MasterCard in 17 different technologies, if it is machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, and so on. When it really came out, I was super curious and say, this is a really next big revolution. So for me personally, I started immediately educating myself. So I'm on a 3rd certification of AI already. And I think this is really, really key. So it's never too late to start the journey. If you didn't use the tools today, you should start this afternoon. So I think from my personal journey, this is really important, is that, I am now in it for close to 2 years. I delivered masterclasses to over 700 MasterCard employees and employees of our customers on AI, how you use it in your day-to-day life and what you do. And I think that one of the great examples I want to, build on what Sabine was talking about, what they're doing at IBM. And I want you, you might think, I'm not a techie, right? If you can just put up your hands, who of you work in retail? Excellent. Medical. Hospitality. Incredible. So you all design experiences, right? You all want to understand your consumers. You want to have great ideas, right? So in the old ways, we would, use design thinking, system design, service design, right? Any of you using these technology or methodologies today? Excellent. So you research your customer, right? You try to understand them, identify their pain points, create ideas, and so on. So me and my team been doing a lot of experimentation the last couple of months, and we fully augmented the design thinking experience. So we're using multiple tools of, things which would take us months and weeks, right? And I just give you a couple of examples. So number one is you can use, obviously, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini for research. Gemini is now able to pull a full report of data. So you can do a research in 24 hours, which would take you before 2-3 months, right? You have to brief an agency, approve a budget, convince your boss that you need it, and so on. Then you can, and that you still need the human beings, right? Then you can use multiple different tools for ideation. If it's synthetic data, if it is ChatGPT, you can use it for synthesis. Once you created the ideas, you can use it to create customer journeys, create the campaigns, create the visuals. And you might also want to test your ideas, right? There's synthetic data where you can upload it, and it utilizes synthetic data from the internet, and within half an hour, 1 hour, it creates your user, it asks them, it gives you a report. So what I'm trying to say is that no matter what industry you are, you can today augment yourself, augment your teams to create new solutions. And I want to finish with an example of my kids. I have 2 boys. Not girls, I wished for a girl, but my husband said the shop is closed, so obviously, maybe with his next wife. And I'm 50, so no more kids for me. So my sons, I'm pushing them to do a lot of things. I taught them how to create NFTs and mint NFTs about 4 years ago. We were very little, they're 13 and 11 now. And in October, I put them onto an AI course, right? Within 1 week, my kids had a company. They tested the idea, they created their own logo, and they created their own campaign for their own private GPT. If an 11 and a 13-year-old child can do that, you can do it too. So I think that it's the boundaries between ages, genders, and sectors are completely resolved.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm going back to you, Sabine. Sabine shared with me when we were prepping for the panel today, a very worrying study. And listen to this. There are today fewer women in the leadership pipeline than there were in 2019. Fewer women in the leadership pipeline. So, Sabine, I want to ask you if you can elaborate a little bit on that research and how AI is actually a gateway to solve this and to boost women again and add more women into the leadership pipeline. And it's true. Today, this is an industry that's driving billions and billions. Really, it's going to affect every single field that we are all here in the room engaged in. And there are very few women in the key crossroads of the development, the regulation, the creation. So I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about that and how do we solve it?
All right, so let me start with this. Diversity and inclusion is part of IBM's ESG reporting. So we have a very big focus on making sure we are driving a diverse culture. And this actually rooted in 1934 when we had like a statement, a corporate statement, it's equal pay for equal work. Okay, but that is a lot of hard work. So we look every year at the status of women in leadership. And are we doing right or not? And we are interviewing many, many corporations and C-level executives across the world to understand what the dynamics are. So I think we were on a good strategy pre-pandemic in order to drive women leadership, which also means we need to look at our early professional hires and how we're going to foster a leadership pipeline in the mid-management and the senior professional area. So what happened in the pandemic, obviously there were a lot of challenges and we saw a lot of women dropping out and taking different roles or dropping completely out and taking care of the family. And we need to bounce back. So there are the good and the bad things, what we observe, okay? We do grow in the early professionals in terms of bringing in a lot more female talent. We did see also an increase again on the leadership, more women taking executive roles. But the worrying part is that mid-management and senior professionals, that we are not able to retain women in these roles, which means if we are drying out that pipeline, who is going to take the next leadership position? And so now, AI is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Like when you look at technologies, there have been disruptors, whether it was the introduction of a mainframe or the personal computer in the 80s. AI is that game changer. It's going to impact each and every one of us. Okay. Now, when I look at women in tech, you know, depending on where you look, I think we're at a safe around like 25 to 30%. You can Google that to see where companies are standing. It's already a smaller number of women in tech. But AI is actually the opportunity that it's not only technical women. That's what I mentioned before. It's like business leaders who get an understanding on what they can derive out of data. You know, what's the art of the possible? And it's creativity, which is key to actually adapt AI. And we have the tooling. And I think when we started to build data scientists, the big changer was, it's not just a technical person we look at. We need the industry insight, the business insight. And all the conversations we drive today in order with our clients is the chief financial officer, the chief marketing officer, the chief HR officer, the chief communication officer, the sustainability officer. In many cases, these are women. Okay, so we need to make sure that we are all on top of it and we step up. So women traditionally are much more risk averse, okay? So there are around 60% today who have not started to adopt AI because they are worried about the consequences. You know, what are the guidelines from the corporation? What is the impact on ethics, on trustworthiness, and so on? But my take is, and we had this conversation, no one on our panel here is actually afraid of AI because we look into the development and what's happening. So as a corporation, we have a responsibility to the world. No? So we have an AI ethics board in IBM, which looks at everything, what can impact AI. Is the type of technology we develop, how do we communicate about it, what governance models we put about, how do we work with regulators like the US Chamber of Commerce or the European Union on defining AI ethics standards. So we have a responsibility in society to work not just with us, but with the world. Okay, so this is one part. So we have three AI ethics we're looking at. So once it's AI is augmenting human intelligence. It's not here to replace. It's like the personal computer didn't replace us. No, it helps us to be more productive. Same for AI. Second is data is owned by the creator. And I think we have seen, you know, when you look at the news earlier this year, an amount of lawsuits because these language models were trained on everything they could find, but it's actually violating IP rights. Okay? You want to make sure that the data you own stays with you, but also if you are using these models to be smarter, that you're not violating and somebody comes and sues you. All right, so that's very important, and that was actually the film industry, the authors, etc., who was triggering that. And the third part is technology needs to be transparent and explainable. And that's where we come in and say, okay, how do we make sure it's trustworthy? There is no bias in the data. How can we explain it? How do we protect data privacy? And so on. And actually today I have here a friend from IBM Research, she happened to visit, who actually was part of developing this. And again, we did not wake up this year. This was like 5 years ago. We already had the conversation on how we build trustworthy AI and what are the pillars we need to work with. And again, it's not just IBM, we're working with the open source community because we believe it's a responsibility to everyone. And it's not just IBM, and we had this conversation on MasterCard. Everybody has these thoughts around, be aware who you deal with, what are their ethic guidelines, what is happening in the governance, in the regulator space, to give you the confidence that if you are aware of these points you need to work at, to consider that you use technology responsibly. Okay, there will always be the bad guys. We can't change that, but we can be the ones who shape the future. That's our role of women. And so we need to take the lead. And that's our opportunity. It's not the techie, it's the creativity, the innovation, the business insight and having this moral responsibility to drive AI.
Thank you, Sabine.
I want to actually add to what
Go
Sabine
ahead.
said. Yes, women are still underrepresented as AI specialists, but the ones that I at least know are so strong, even like yourself, it's incredible. And I feel like we don't tell their stories often enough. Who in the audience, for example, knows who the first computer programmer in this world was? Do you know the name?
Ada Lovelace.
Ada Lovelace, correct. It was a woman. The first computer programmer in this world was a woman. Why don't we tell her story more often in schools and in our education system? Same goes with the incredible women we have in AI right now. We need to put them on every stage out there, and we need to tell their stories.
And to the point, the two women, so the two people who chair the IBM AI ethics board are two women. So we lead by example.
And actually, Madis, I want to follow up on what are your personal recommendations on how to incorporate AI in the daily life, and also maybe examples on how you incorporate it in the female factor.
I mean, Andrea mentioned it. She did it with her sons. And that is what we see as well. It's the best entry point to connect with the next generation. We hear often, oh my God, I don't know how to deal with Gen Z. I don't know how to work with them. They're in my talent pipeline. This is a perfect opportunity. And what we've seen is that mentoring programs go a long way. When you mentor, for example, as a Gen Z talent, mentor a senior leader on AI, it connects them. And I really can highly recommend to connect with the next generation on topic of AI and to use this type of reverse mentoring to also connect the generations out.
I love this, and you know that mentoring always goes both ways. So please surround yourselves with people that are different from you. We cannot develop something for everyone without everyone, right? So surround yourselves with people who are different from you in age, in socioeconomic background, in disabilities, everything, and this will be a key to many things. And I want to turn to you for the last question before we have a tiny surprise for you all. Andrea, we've been talking a little bit about roles like data scientists and other things, but in general, of course, it's not the only gateway to AI. What are your observations as per how can one develop a career in AI?
Great question. I think you need to start with yourself, right? In the past, we would have a lot of excuses, or you'd say, this is not for us, right? This is not the sector where women are usually working. But I think that ultimately it's your curiosity and your commitment. There are many new jobs. By 2030, there will be about 800 million jobs which will be impacted, either automated or augmented by AI. So now, everybody who is in this room, it is your personal choice if your skill will become obsolete or if you will allow automation augmentation. Again, it is in your personal capacity to decide if you will wait for your employer or for somebody to train you and teach you these skills, or if after this fantastic and fabulous event, tomorrow you will start and micro-learn. And every day you will spend some time to learn a new skill, a new tool, right? So there will be jobs which will be displaced, but there are a lot of new jobs which are coming up. I think Simone was talking about data, right? So today we obviously have abundance of data, and a lot of the data we don't need, right? So jobs and opportunities like data brokers, data aggregators, right? Areas in the space of tokenization, so how you protect the data. So today there is a new job which is called prompt engineer. Right? Because you have to obviously prime the AI and prompt the AI, right? Even this job it's like speed dating. It will not exist in the future because you will be able to ask the AI to do the prompts themselves. You can do it already today, but you really need to apply. So I think there is, number one, you don't even need to look for a new job. Apply it in your today's job today. Number two is educate yourself. No matter if you are in hospitality, if you are in real estate, if you are in healthcare, if you are a teacher, whatever you are, educate yourself and see how your tools can be used, right? I'll give you a simple example. oh my God, minus 17 seconds. Okay,
we have
10 seconds. I know, okay. They will drag us from the stage. So I just did certification on MIT, on AI. I did the full presentation, everything from research in AI. I wrote a VBA code for the presentation. in AI. All the imagery was created by AI. All the testing was done by AI. Everything you do in your day-to-day job can be done by AI. So the only thing you need to create a new job for yourself or better your company is just to simply stand up and make the first step.
All right, so we were given a big topic, artificial intelligence, tiny, and we were given 30 minutes. So we're not going to dive deeper, and we're out of time, but we did promise that we're going to end this panel with a pledge, because our goal in this panel is for each of us to incorporate, adopt AI in a small and big ways in our lives. So we're going to end with each of us standing up and leading with example and pledging what we're going to do from now on, because I can tell you, for me, it's the first time that I am talking about this topic with a room full of women. I never had the chance. Every time I speak about this, I'm among the only women in the room. So I'm very excited, and this warms my heart. And I must tell you, one of the things we loved doing when generative AI burst in at the Google office is we used to ask a question ChatGPT, and we used to ask the same question Bard, which is the Google generative AI tool, to compare. And I said to myself, yeah, from now on, every time I book a vacation, I'm no longer going to go back to old habits. I'm going to let ChatGPT and Bard build the trip for me, and I can always upgrade it after. And of course, time went by, and I went back to old habits. I went back to my travel agent, and I didn't really adopt this. So I'll start with a small pledge. I pledge today that from now on, I will incorporate AI in the small tasks, and the next time I book a trip, I will use Bard and ChatGPT, small one, incorporate, start with a small one, and do everything with my children. Over to you.
I didn't know we had to stand up for this. Wow. Okay, this is serious. I am pledging that I will give access for free to 5 women who want to be mentored by an expert in AI. So you can just message me. Message me on LinkedIn. Our team at the Female Factor doesn't know about this yet, so I'm going to tell them later. But yeah, so just message me on LinkedIn, Madis, and you can get access.
I love this, Madis. And please, all of you, you don't have to be among these only 5. If you have any question, reach out to us. We're super available on any question, and you have tons of experts. Would love to hear from you. Sabine.
All right, so I have to deal with AI every day, so I will do more of a leadership pledge. So I will help women to grow their career and to achieve their potential. Obviously, these days, it's all very much linked to AI, in particular, how we build ethical AI, like trustworthy AI. So that's what I will do internally and externally with the organizations.
Beautiful.
Sabine.
And to wrap us up, Andrea.
I want everybody to stand up. Why is it only us pledging?
Everybody.
Guys, so as I will be saying my pledge, I want you to think for yourself, what is the pledge you do to yourself in relation to AI? From tomorrow, from next week, right? So I pledge, repeat after me. This is very serious, guys, you know? It's all recorded. That from next week, and now you will take for yourself, because I will only, because don't repeat the same one as me, right? So Andrea, I pledge from next week, I will teach, and now you say your own pledge, don't repeat after me. Otherwise we get married. I'm married twice already, I don't think. Or 3 times actually. That every single week I will teach 5 women in our office more about AI.
Thank you, Andrea. You know,
I hope you all have your pledges.
yes,
And
amazing way
if I just can I want to give you a little example, right? You can create bedtime stories with your children. When you drive in your car with your kids, put ChatGPT on voice and ask your child to ask the chat to create a new movie from their favorite character. Create music with them. Go and teach yourself mid-journey with your kids, or with your husbands, or with your partners, with your friends. Start somewhere.
Thank
the
you,
first
ladies.
day, Mila told us that she was in a conference where they didn't speak about money, and we cannot afford to not speak anymore about AI, and we cannot have anything less than 50% of women at every AI table. Shine on.
Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Donna.